Hey everyone, have you been wondering how to handle your month end on eBay? Well, we've got a show for you. We're going to talk to you how we look at our past month, as well as what we do to prepare for the month that's upcoming, as well as a special announcement near the end of the show today. So stay tuned for that. Something really exciting. So I am Prof Sales.
And I'm Karin.
And you are here on the Prof Sales channel. This channel is all about reselling, being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself, and throwing off those shackles of a corporate job or having someone else be in control of your financial destiny. So this show is live right now. So there's also a live chat room. So if you'd like to participate, we usually are live at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you can jump in and be part of the live show. But you're also welcome to leave questions and comments down below this video after it posts. So hopefully we sound okay. Let us know if you can hear us all right. And we're gonna jump off into this topic. So how many of you out there in the chat, people are filling in right now, how many of you people out there in the chat are excited when the month ends and when a new one starts? And how many of you are not excited? That would be kind of interesting, I think, to ask, right?
So a thumbs up in the chat, excited, thumbs down, or anything else.
Can they do a thumbs down? Is there a thumbs down signal?
This is the only time we'd ask you to do a thumbs down.
Yeah. If you don't do a thumbs down on the video. Just put one in the chat or do the little graphic if there is one. I don't think there even is one.
So what is this thing you call month end, Prof?
All right. So we are at the end of a month of being in business for ourselves. And look, whenever you want to decide how you're going to pivot or what you're going to do next, it doesn't have to be at month end. You can reconcile everything at week end, at quarter end, at year end if you really want to. But I think you need a regular checkup on your business so that you can make good decisions going forward. I mean, that just makes sense, right?
It's funny you said weekend.
Weekend, end of a week. But yeah, so, most of us here in the United States, at least, we tend to think about our income and our bills and things like that on a monthly basis. Not in all cases, but we think, all right, how much money do I have this month? How much is going to go out? What am I going to have left? Hopefully I'm going to have some left. What's coming up next month or a month from now? So I think that, kind of reconciling your business at the end of each month is probably as good a way as any to sort of get this, to sort of see where you stand and maybe have some idea about where you're going. So you do your bills month end, don't you, Karin?
No, I don't do them month end. I pay them in advance.
She pays them all in advance. She's paid them all for 5 years in advance. She's good. She has no bills for 5 years now.
No, but I mean, for personal bills, no, I like to do them all on the same day instead of stringing it out, like this one's due here. I'll set them up to future pay or whatever, but just like month end for me, you give me my cue so I know when to talk about my part. But month end, it's a one and done kind of thing. It's really not something that my role in our business month end isn't necessarily strung out. So my preference is to just get in there and get it over with, one fell swoop.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys feel in the chat, or if you're watching this video later, you may have a different mindset. It may feel good to you to sort of take care of everything all at once for a month. Maybe you do part of it at the beginning of the month and then part of it halfway through. Maybe you do it all at the end of the month. But you've got to have some sort of way to sort of reconcile where your business is at. So I choose month end, and it's kind of month beginning at the same time. I've actually created a checklist for myself in Trello, which I'll be sharing with you guys shortly. I'm still working out a few of the kinks of Trello, how I want it to work. But I plan on doing a video on that pretty soon about how we're using it to organize our day and our week and so on. So I'm excited about that. But I've created a checklist for myself at the end of each month. And I know that I need to do these things at month end and have them in order for my accounting purposes, for my business, for tax purposes, but more so just to kind of get a feel for, how did it go this month? What were my takeaways? And that's what we're going to share today. So I'm going to share with you guys kind of a section of the spreadsheet that we use to track our business. Our spreadsheet, for those of you who don't know, it kind of functions as a profit and loss statement, at least part of it. a cash flow statement, but it also has an inventory component and tracking sales and some other goodies as well.
It does the dishes, the laundry,
does the dishes,
it mows the grass.
Right. You know, so all those things and so much more. I sound like an infomercial.
Yeah. Can I just make my drink? So I'm drinking this vitamin-y drink. Look, see?
And is this some sort of sponsored content?
No. I try all the new thingies, right? So this is an interactive kind of thing. You have to. Oh, it's not working.
What in the world?
You push this thingy, and then you shake it. Yeah.
Just don't shake it towards the electronics.
So you do this, and then you, yeah. So it puts vitamins. This is pineapple coconut. So I am guinea pigging for the.
All right.
For all of you.
So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to jump right into this, guys. I'm going to share with you. Let me get to my sheet here. So what I did is I took part of my spreadsheet and I cut it down to just a chunk of it, just so it's not a little more manageable to look at. So I'm going to share that with you guys and show you what I'm looking at. So, excuse me, the month has ended. I'm going to pull this up here. And you can see here across the top, this is just some monthly columns that I have. And this is not the entire spreadsheet, but it's part of it. And I track a lot of different things on here. This looks a lot more complicated than it is. And a lot of this stuff happens automatically. I don't have to go in and enter that much. And it pulls from other areas. But let's scroll over here to these. Let's look at these. Let's actually look at these 3 months. And I'm going to shade those in a different color, so you can kind of see those a little better. I'm going to command copy this over here just so we can see it a little better on this side. All right, so this is September, or excuse me, July, August, and September. Now we just finished August. So you can see here that with inventory, I spent about $609 in red, so it shows money going out. Bought 213 items. This was a big jump up from July. I think I talked about in July, we did not source very much. We were really conserving capital. My cost per item was really low at $286. That's pretty good. I'm really happy about that cost per item. I think if you can get your costs down that low or even lower, you know, if you shop the bins, your price is probably even lower than that, I'm sure. Sold 125, which for a jean seller, primarily in the summertime, is okay because you're not going to sell a lot in these months. I actually sold more than I listed, which we'll get to in a moment. I sold 106% of item, but I still gained 88 inventory items. And all that is the difference between what we bought, what we sold, and what was left over. So that's important to know, guys, because if you're going to be increasing your listings, you need to know, well, if I'm selling 50 items and I only buy 40 in a month, you're not going to be able to increase your listings because you're selling more than you list, or more than you bought. You've got to at least buy more than you're selling, or else you cannot increase your listings. And my average net profit per item was $10.75. So I'm going to come back for a second just to kind of see if that made sense to everybody, like what we did there. And some ideas, guys, I want to see like kind of an overview, this 30,000 foot view of, all right, here's what we bought, here's what we sold, here's how much we made per item, and then I can sort of get an idea about whether or not it makes sense to kind of go down that same path for September. Mm-hmm. Because we know September, if you're a clothing reseller, September is going to be a bigger month for you, usually. It tends to pick up because of back to school and the colder weather and all these reasons. But I always want to know kind of where I'm coming from so I can know where I want to go. Am I happy with August's results? They were okay. I mean, I won't say they were super great considering we came into the month with no inventory to speak of. So it was very difficult to continually be listing. I'm okay with it. I wish it'd been a little better, obviously, but given the circumstances, I don't know that it was going to be. What do you think of August?
I think August was certainly better. I like that everything's starting to pick up, though. Yeah,
it was definitely better than July. July was a very slow month, which it traditionally is. So let's go back in, guys. I'm going to show you some more here of this spreadsheet and what else we look at the end of the month. So that kind of gave you a little bit of an overview of some of the big numbers. So let's break it down a little more specifically. All right. So the start of the month, I had 1291 listed, or excuse me, that's September. At the start of August, I had 1298 listed, and I sold 125, listed 118. So that's a difference of 7. So I actually lost 7 listings. I'm starting September with less listings than I had in August. So I've definitely got my work cut out for me. I've got to increase, the number of listings I have if I want to get more sales. I mean, that's kind of a given. Obviously, I can do other things too, like looking at pricing, promoting listings, running a sale, all these things. But I know just in general, I'm starting the month just virtually the same as I started August. So I definitely kind of in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I've got to push some more listings through so I can push this number up, which should increase my sales even more. Listed 118, which is okay, given we weren't buying a lot of items. It kind of made sense that we weren't going to be able to, get too many more listed. We did buy 213, and but a lot of those were bought kind of near the end of the month. So it was kind of hard to get them listed in August. So those will carry over into September, as well as more we're going to buy. And here's an interesting number. I bet a lot of you guys don't look at this. This is my average sell time. So I started tracking when I listed items back in October of 2016. Basically, I don't have the list date for my other items. Now, if I list an item and it doesn't sell in 30 days and I relist it, I still have the original list date in there. I don't go in and put in the new list date. I just keep it original when I actually list it. So my average sell time was 140 days. That's probably the highest number. Between that and July, you see July was 109. Those are going to be some of my higher numbers. I think that's a lot of time. That's like, what is that? 6? No, that's more than 4 months. It's about 4.5, almost 5 months. And some of that reflects having some older items that I pushed through and tried to push out and get that. And that's going to push that average sell time up. But that's something you can kind of keep in mind. Like by that number, if that number holds for a whole year, which I don't think it will, I think it'll be lower than that. That would mean you would turn your inventory, almost 3 times a year if you were doing every 140 days. So that's something kind of to think about. Like if you have this many listings and you're selling in this quick a time, you're going to sell them this many times per year, and you're going to know that you're going to make this amount of dollars. You can use that to figure out. My listing goal was 277 in August, which obviously I did not hit. As we saw up here, I only did 118, so not even half of that, 42.65% of that. So definitely a lot of opportunity there. But again, items I bought were kind of near the end of the month, so it was a little tricky to get there. I'd like to increase my listings by 15% each month. And let's see here. And this is just sourcing goals too. You don't have to come up with a sourcing goal as specific as this, but if you want to increase your listings and you're selling 100, you're obviously going to have to source more than 100. So you're going to have some kind of goal above 100, even if it's just 101. But you've got to have some sort of goal there to kind of go after, so you can kind of know if you are doing it or not. I bought 213, so I was a little short of that 291. But and so I've got a lot to make up here, and I've got a big goal here for September of 335 to source, which should allow me to sell through a couple hundred pair of jeans, let's say, and gain 135 items. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. We'll go back to the chat. I just want to make sure that makes sense. If anybody had any questions about that too. Yvonne has a question about what did better, shoes or jeans? I'm going to get to that in just a moment. We're going to break it out. I do have those 2 big categories broken out. So we will, so I will show you what that kind of looks like here in just a moment. And net profit, that's a little bit trickier to talk about, Barry, because that takes into account also your other expenses. It takes into account, obviously whatever your tax liability is going to be. And there's other things that are sold on here too. This is just the eBay part of my business. It's not the other parts. So, and it's just this particular store. So I don't want to get too off track there with that. But obviously what is a critically important number to know as well. So let's go back and I'll show you some categories, and that'll be the last part of this segment. We'll break it out into jeans here. And ta-da, away we go. All right, so here were jeans in September. Here's September. This number says 951. I kind of had a little glitch here with my formula. It wasn't really a glitch with my formula. It was actually me. I was supposed to.
It's the operator bell.
Yeah, it was me, and it's a long story, but I sold in August. I sold 97 pair, which was a big jump up, over double what I sold in August or July, which is good. Obviously moving in the right direction. I also listed 97, which was just an interesting coincidence. So I didn't lose any jean inventory in August. I listed as many as I sold. My listing goal, though, was, however, higher than that, 237. So I was nowhere near that, unfortunately. And my daily sell-through was about 0.33. That is one of the lower numbers of the year. You can see in July it was even lower. In June it was pretty low too, and even May. These are the 4 months that are really the lowest. I'm thinking that number will potentially double this month, so it might be more like around 0.67% per day. Not really at 1%, which is obviously a great goal. October, I might get up over that number, actually. We'll see how that goes. Average sell time for jeans, and this is interesting, 153 days. Now, again, that's taking into account some older jeans we're moving this month. But, you know, you can kind of see a progression here, guys. And this is what's interesting, and this is where you can find out what things sell. Look in January. Now, granted, remember, I didn't start tracking the listing date of items until October. So this number, by just sort of mathematically speaking, can't be as large potentially as these numbers could be. So I'm kind of going to have to see this for a whole year plus to really get a good feel for this average sell time for jeans. But you can see it kind of can progressively kept going up. Some of that is just reflective of like older pairs we're selling. Some of it is, I think, jeans just sit a little longer. Kind of a big jump up here to June, and then July, and then August. And then we'll see if it gets lower in September. I'm really curious to see what this number will be in September, or at least stabilizes, which would kind of tend to indicate that it was lower. And I know that's kind of a wonky explanation, but basically this number had to go up as we go across because, again, I didn't start tracking the list date until October of 2016. So it would have been impossible to say have like a 200-day-old pair of jeans in January sell because there weren't any jeans that were showing as 200 days old in the entire list. So take that with a grain of salt, but we'll see how it goes with like a whole year plus of data. Average sell price was $23.67. I actually did not sell any with shipping last month, which is interesting. Average cost was $406. Fees, shipping cost was a little bit lower. Some of them went first class. That's why it's lower than $630. So my net was $10.40 per jean. So you might think here, well, if I can sell 100 pair of jeans every month, I'm going to make $1,000. If I can sell 200, I'm going to make $2,000. Is that a real number? You know, I don't know. I think jeans per net can be a little higher than that. If you go back to some of these months, you can see I was a bit higher than that in most of these months, 11, 12, 14, 12, 36, and so on. So let me come back to the chat here for a moment, make sure that all made sense because I can't see the chat when we're doing that. Let's see here. So hopefully you guys are seeing like, and I'm kind of looking at all these numbers and like with just a big view. I mean, I'm not like tearing into them specifically and going, all right, let me figure out what this number. I mean, I'm just kind of looking in general. I'm looking for trends. I'm looking to see, all right, am I doing better in this area, worse in this area, about the same? And then what can I use to use that info for September? I'm going to quickly walk through the shoes. And I know this is a lot of info, guys, but there's really no other way to show it. And then we will get into some other subjects as well. And we'll take questions too. If you have questions, just type them in the chat. I'll try to catch them as we go. We'll just kind of quickly walk through the shoes. Shoes have been just very okay for me. Only sold 14 pair last month. I feel like that's a low number with 139 listings. So I'm starting the month with 139. We'll see if it picks up here with the back to school and heading towards the fourth quarter, not there yet.
Well, we have a bunch of shoes to list, so
we have some more to list. We have quite a few pair to list. We did list. What did we list last month? Only 17. So we gained a few listings. I still think this number is a little funky because I had a little bit of formula operator belt issue there. Sell-through was almost the same as jeans, 0.32. Average sell time has been increasing on those. But again, I didn't really start selling those since April. So this number is kind of interesting. You kind of have to see this number for a whole year to really know if it makes sense. The exciting thing is the average sell price was, about $33 with shipping. And my net per shoes was $17.65. That's a little bit lower than it was in July and back here in, I don't know why this is a little bit lower than it was in some of these other months. So probably just because I sold a few cheaper pair. When you're only selling 14, if one or two are lower price, it's going to really affect this number. Just like if they were really higher price, it would too. And about $247 a profit on those 14 pair of shoes. So I have definitely got a lot of room to grow as being a shoe seller. I don't think I know what I'm doing yet. But my margin was higher. It was 52%, whereas jeans was about 44%. So definitely a higher margin item and more actual dollars that you make. Yeah, so that was a lot there I know to cover. And the bottom line is that the summertime is obviously always going to be a slower period for clothing. So you've got to find ways to, you've got to find ways that you can improve in little areas. So a couple takeaways. I mean, what would, Karin, we didn't share this info. That's the first time you seeing it, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So what kind of did you take away from all that? Just unfiltered Karin.
You need to list more stuff.
Right. Well, we have it now to list.
Yeah.
Is the difference. We didn't really have it until kind of the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we have trips in place where where we have opportunities where we can get a bunch of stuff in one grab. So that'll be good too.
But I'm going to say something here, guys. It's probably not what you want to hear. She's like, what? I actually have more items listed, in this year in August than I did in August of last year, and did about 10% less volume. Now, is that because we probably listed more items last year? I don't have that exact number for you. We probably actually did more listings in August, but I find that interesting that our sales totals were a little bit lower than last year, despite having more listings up. I don't know exactly how many items I had listed last year because I wasn't keeping track of that on a regular basis. But it just goes to show you that, yeah, you can have more listings. And I think that is a necessary factor to increase your sales to some degree, but it's not the only factor. Obviously, you've got to have some other things in there too. Maybe just more frequent listing is part of it. Because I think we were frequently listing in August of last year. I don't remember for sure, but I feel like we were.
Yeah, it was part of a synchronized plan.
Yeah.
That was when we were doing so many per day, and we were writing everything down, and
right.
That was still part
of that. And what kind of changed this year was too, I found we've kind of gotten off into other areas too, and other things we were doing that probably took away from some of that time as well. There were some other things that came up in our personal lives that we had to take care of and are happening that was a little different than last year too. So there were probably some reasons for it. But that's either here or there. It's like, now what do we do about it going into September, which I'm excited about.
Well, and going into September, we got life going on all around us again now too. So
no, we don't. Life stops for us in September. It's all good.
Okay.
We'll have no distractions whatsoever.
So note to self, meningitis vaccine boosters can make you sick.
True story.
True story.
I feel like we're very tilted here with this shot.
It's all your fault. So you know what's missing from this end of month is my contribution to the end of month. So all that gobbledygook number metric stuff, for lack of better, that's all Jason's. Now it's even weirder.
Sorry, I was trying to straighten
all
up the
that
shot.
spreadsheety stuff that Jason does, that's something separate that he keeps for his records. And then he'll send a version of that. I'll go like this. I'll sit like this. He'll send a version of that to Jared, our accountant.
Yes.
But part of what he sends to Jared is my contribution. I am the defect coordinator for this venture. And I actually got up when we were doing a screen share to kind of bring it over to do a show and tell, but it's too heavy. I can't, because we took the summer off. I was doing it when we're really busy. I do it monthly.
Yeah.
But when we're not, defects are fewer, so I can do it quarterly. So for 2 quarters of the year, I'll just do it every 3 months. But my role in monthly reports to our accountant is that I keep track of how many jeans did we not sell, or shoes or hard goods or whatever. And for ease of accounting purposes, we actually have a spreadsheet, and it's not, sorry that we can't screenshot it. It's on my Mac or in the cloud, not Jason's. But we have I've created a template where I've listed the categories. You know, jeans is a category, shoes is a category. And at one time when we were doing a lot of other clothing items, they would have individual line items as well. But the important thing is, for that spreadsheet, in keeping track of the defects and the minuses towards the end of the year, write-offs and such, I have a set amount. So if we have a jean, and hopefully this is going to make sense because I'm the non-math person here, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. And if it's too simple for those of you that are above this, just bear with me here, please. So on this defect spreadsheet, I have a set amount. So for jeans, and I want to say it's $4 or $5, I can't remember. Right. But I already have it formula so that for January, I enter the number 2, and it'll do the math for me, and it'll say 2 times 4. So my total defect for jeans is that $1 amount. And whatever that looks like, it'll total it up, and then we're able to send that list in totality to Jared, and he can apply that against our taxes.
It's a tax benefit, right?
Yeah, and that's our write-off. That's our tax benefit of things that we bought and are unable to use. And there's different reasons why we can't use them.
Right. They have defects, they have flaws. We just don't want to sell them.
Right. So that big pile, and right now it's, like I said, and it's not bad, but it's a couple months worth over there. We will then either donate or discard. I think most of the time we donate them.
We donate it back. But guys, you know, a caveat here, talk to your tax professional. We are not tax professionals, so do not take this as like professional advice.
Well, and it's just, we're just sharing with you how we do it. And it's just easier. You know, I'm sure you've seen when you do your own taxes and you want to give yourself a write-off for something. There's even the IRS has a template for what a donated lawn chair is worth, or a shirt or a car, or different things, right? So that's just what we've done. We've simplified it, and we try not to buy anything that's we know is going to defect out. But it's different things. Like maybe we didn't catch that. I don't know. Maybe it's too.
Yeah, it adds up. Like Jared had asked me for a spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, a report of my 2016 mileage. And I use MileIQ, and an app on my phone. And I didn't know how much it was. He was finishing up some 2016 tax stuff for me. And I sent him the report, and it told me at the top I had $5,300 worth of mileage. I went, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And that was just work miles. You know, I had some personal miles too that are not deductible and cannot be used to reduce expenses. But it's like the little things like that, the parts of your business. It's not even one thing that's going to be a huge benefit. But to Karin's point, the defects, using the mileage, writing off your business expenses. I mean, all those things can turn a not so profitable month or quarter or year into a profitable month or quarter year, just because you're taking advantage of the rules that are out there.
And just because we call it a defect, I want to be clear, it's not necessarily unusable.
Right.
Like we got into, in another video earlier in the year, we got into kind of this philosophical discussion about, you know, people donate broken things on purpose to Goodwill. We don't do that. We don't donate things that are going to be unusable. That just doesn't make sense. And Adam said something about he donates his inventory to local homeless shelter. We've also joked about we don't donate it to Goodwill, so we don't have to go through it again someday.
Yeah, don't donate it to somewhere you're sourcing.
But my go-to here locally is Crisis Assistance Ministry. And it's a really cool program where people in need can go and shop for items that they need, but it doesn't cost them anything. So when we have clothing or hard goods or perishables to donate, that's where we send them. What are you doing?
Nothing.
You're
Was that bothering you?
You're turning over our agenda. I can't keep up if you turn that over.
All right, so so that's kind of a month-end recap, guys, and how you can kind of use it. I don't know, like what you personally are going to I don't know how you set up your next month. I don't know how you're looking at September. Maybe you're not looking at September or October going forward, but you know, it would probably benefit you to take a few moments to stop and think about, all right, what went really well last month? What didn't go so well? How can I pivot and change and adapt to whatever the situation is now and try to improve your results? Maybe it's better pricing, maybe it's better sourcing, maybe it's more listing, maybe it's getting better photos, maybe it's going off to a different platform, you know, who knows? Maybe it's making sure that your donations and so on, or your business expenses are in line with you know, what's legitimate and what you can, you know, honestly take in terms of your taxes. Talk to your professional. But all those things add up, you know, and every decision you make or don't make can cost you money or make you money.
Well, so. and if your status quo is enough, if it's adequate, then by all means keep doing what you're doing. But since I'm cliche girl, if you, and this isn't cliche, but I'm sure you've heard this, if you keep doing the same thing the same way over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So if you want to grow, if you want to make more money, if you want to expand, whatever, you're going to have to do it a little different, you know, set goals.
Yeah.
Even if it's a 1%, like we talk about one up, like do one more minute, one more listing, one more set of photographs. Just even if you do one thing additional to what you're already doing, that's going to make a difference. And it's bound to have a positive impact on your business.
And absolutely. So also, guys, 56 people watching right now. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate you guys coming out on your Friday, September 1st. Karen, what do you think people should do if they like the content?
They should. Oh, that was just a lightning. It was like on cue.
We have a storm.
The lighting has even changed. They should thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and choosing that little alarm bell thingy to remind you when we are here, especially when we're live or when a video comes up, because we love the community, the interaction. If you're coming here to this video after it's live, by all means, leave a question or a comment down below, because I guarantee you, if it's come into your brain, it's going to come into someone else's, and it could only be helpful to somebody down the line. Well said.
All right, so a couple other topics here, guys, and then we'll let you go. Update on inventory. We are halfway through jeans, and Karen and I are tag teaming the jeans. It literally takes us about an hour to do one fixture, which can be as many as 200 and what is it, 210. It could be up to 210 items, but it ends up being less than that for the most part.
And we're kind of still talking to each other, just barely.
I can tell you, after going through we've probably gone through about maybe 500 pair.
Oh, sure.
Probably around there.
At least.
We have found several mistakes. Some minor, some just like little things where like maybe a word got misspelled in a title.
Well, it's everything.
Although that's not really that minor.
It's human error, it's eBay error, and it's other. I mean, it's as simple as, and some of them are good to catch on our end.
Right.
Like it was a pair of maternity pants where the word maternity wasn't in the listing. It could affect whether someone can search it or not.
Yeah, there was one where a pair of pants had the fit name was Venice, like the city in Italy, and for whatever reason I put venue.
There was one that should have been Slinky, and he wrote Slunky or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then there were some other things too. There were some more serious ones. Like there's ones like you said, or I think you said this, like where eBay said we have it listed and we don't.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
Those are the biggies. Like eBay has an item for sale that we no longer have an inventory. And here's the thing, if it's been longer than 90 days, we can't reconcile that.
We can't go back and see if we in fact sold it.
Way to go, eBay.
Yeah, that's something eBay does need to fix, is you need to be able to go back through your entire sales record.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's just silly.
Again, we've talked about the redundancies. You've got to keep track on your own terms in your own way, your sales record. You've just got to, because if this comes up for you, you're going to have no way. And so here's going to be this thing for sale. And maybe it doesn't matter.
And you don't have it.
Maybe you just want to delete it, whatever, but have a backup.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you sell it and then you don't have it, you're going to get a nasty surprise. Because now you're going to have a buyer and you're going to have to tell them, you know, hey, I don't have this. But
in tag teaming it, what we're doing is we're checking three different.
So dark in here now.
I told you we should have had spotlights or something on. It's like Armageddon out there. So we're checking 3 things simultaneously, right? We're doing a physical inventory count, and I'm making sure that we double check make, model, size, color, brand, etc. Because we're kind of catching some where the size was different or it's not listed correctly or whatever. And I don't think we've ever done this thorough account on inventory before. So we're checking the physical inventory. We're also checking that against our own database to see if if the things that we have up there are indeed the things that we think we have up there. And then we're checking those 2 things not only against each other, but against what eBay says. And like Jason said, we're coming up, and I get the human error, where, you know, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to spell something wrong. Maybe you're going to forget, or you're going to mark it as sold or not sold or whatever. But here's the thing, eBay makes mistakes. eBay continues to sell things for whatever reason that you no longer have for sale.
Right.
And if you can avoid having to cancel or cancel at customer's request or whatever, it's important. So we're finding all kind of things like that that are beneficial, and we're kind of, and it's enough that it's, you know, I get that it's a pain in the butt to do this, and it's sometimes not very fun, but we're catching things, and it's productive, and that's a good thing.
Sorry, I had to cut on a light there, guys. It was literally getting normally we have sunlight coming through the window, but it's getting dark here because of the storm. I had to turn on a light. That was crazy. All right, the meetup, Carolina reseller meetup number 2. Second one
is a week from tomorrow.
Yep, and we have a page. What's the page on Facebook?
The Carolina reseller meetups, of all things.
So,
and we're going to be in Columbia, South Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, that's next weekend, right?
Yes,
and a week from tomorrow.
And we're staying in a hotel.
September 9th, September 9th, 2017. If you're watching this later, so that'll be fun. And
we'll do another video and a follow-up on that, but those are always great fun. You get to meet people, network, compare notes, and just have a jolly old time.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. The last one we had over 30 people there. We got together, we thrifted together, we hung out together afterwards, we had lunch. So it was a great time of meeting people and learning from each other. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. And so we're going to do that again in 1 week. So if you're interested in that, check that out on Facebook.
So like all these comments are going by, and when you guys say hi, or whenever I see my name, I can kind of make it out without my glasses on. But whenever I smile, know that I feel bad, because people are, like Adam said earlier that he did part of his homework. Like he started playing with the CSVs.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that's really cool. Yvonne mentioned a 10K sub party, which I think would be awesome. That means you'll have to come visit us from Colorado, dear girl.
There you
and
go.
We'll have a party right here. But anyway, so I keep doing, if you ever see me with these little grins, it's because I'm reading something. It's because she's reading the comments. Something happy in the comments.
And one last topic here. So really excited about this.
Drum roll.
You're crazy. Some of you already know this. So I recently was honored by the Green Room. They made me an administrator of the room, which is really cool. I have been a big fan of Steve and Chris and Eric's for quite a while now. They are like-minded. We are like-minded in business in so many ways, like kind of talking about things behind the scenes. So when they approached me with this opportunity, I, of course, jumped all over it. So I'm excited about that. The Green Room, as you guys know, is a group of,
or maybe you don't know if you're hearing it for the first time.
Yeah, is a group of really like-minded resellers and so on, and entrepreneurs and business people. And there's some people in there that are far further down the road than I am. And every time I get together with those people or I go on that page, I learn something. It's crazy. Where it's sometimes I can't always say that in every other group, because sometimes bigger groups can sort of devolve into chaos sometimes, just because there's just so many people. You just miss the important things.
Well, and if you're in a shoe group, you're going to talk about shoes. If you're in a jean group, you're going to talk about jeans. Right. And the Green Room, it's a e-commerce. Like, it's every facet. It's not just reselling. It's every facet of e-commerce and business and entrepreneurship. And since I've already interrupted you, it's like, this is what you've been working toward. You thrive when you're teaching and when you're giving back. And this is an opportunity to do more of that in a different venue. And I just, congratulations. I think that's way cool.
Yeah. So if you're already a member of the Green Room, you'll see me even in there more often than I have been, for sure. But also, if you're not, check it out. I mean, I would never tell anybody you just have to join Group A, Group B. But I've gotten a lot of value out of that group, far more than I've taken far more out of it, I feel like, than I've put in. So this is my chance to put a lot more value back in on even another level. And so I'm looking forward to that, and connecting with all you who are already members. If you're not, check it out, and see if you don't get a lot of value of it like I did as well. So excited about that. That was really cool. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, listen, that's going to do it for this show. So hit the like button if you like the content. Consider subscribing. Anything else, Trixie?
Like, subscribe. Don't be a stranger.
Check the description.
Online, etc. Have a great weekend.
All right, guys. Well, I'm Prof Sales.
And I'm Karin.
Saying good
sales to you.